Hello, today I want to share with you how I make these beautiful cards. Each floral that I'm making is a different shape. So this is a circle, this is an oval shape, this is a bowl shape, kind of like a circle but has more of a bowl to it. And this one is a star-shaped flower. And whoops, this one is a bell shape, or I call them kind of like little triangles. Anyways, it's going to be so much fun. I have thoroughly enjoyed painting with these. I am also using Brighter Day pigments that are my new favorite watercolor for sure. They're like little pocket-sized pigments and I just love them. And so Brighter Day pigments are, it's a handmade watercolor from an artist, and she uses some really beautiful colors that you can't usually find in box sets, but they're so much fun. This one's all mica. Anyways, we're just gonna have fun. I'm gonna share with you the different shapes, and I enjoy painting these loose florals with just basic shapes, so it's gonna be fun. Anyone can do this, I promise. I'm so happy you were here. Today I want to share how I paint and draw florals, and you really need basic shapes. There are circles, ovals, bowl shape like a rose, star shapes like a violet, orchid, and and blossoms. Just say tree blossoms. And then we have bell shape. Those are like your bluebells and lilies. So all these 5 are perfect ways, and all you have to do is just kind of paint the shape, maybe the color, maybe get the leaves sort of generally right. Like there's different leaves, there's big fat leaves, right? Or there's really teeny tiny leaves, you know, like knowing just the leaves will also help with their overall shape. And what you're doing is we're just painting loosely, and we're gonna have fun with it. So alright, so let's start with the circle shape. This is very simple. I just drew, when I draw my circles, I do like to draw a little bit. I don't love to draw a lot, but I do draw a little bit. So I will make my little ellipsis, and then I'll come in and make my circle. My little cross becomes my circle. I can kind of gauge exactly how like I can gauge the space a bit better when I have my circle divided into fourths, and so that's why I do that. But then I also have my kneaded eraser that I will just erase, you know, and it's not perfect. I don't think flowers in general have it's a perfect circle usually, but the petals aren't always perfect. But then I have a spot for this beautiful daisy. I have a spot for my sentiment right here, and I have a leaf. I have a general triangle-ish leaf because daisies have big leaves usually, depending on the daisy, but I'm thinking of a Gerber daisy, so they kind of have this ruffle leaf thing happening. So that's what I'm going with. And I saw the X like right here, so I'm just going to make another circle, maybe like right in here. And then we are starting with a beautiful daisy. All right, and this is when you could start inking your lines if you would rather have like an ink and wash, but I'm happy just to kind of have this guide, and I'm happy to know that I'm going to leave a lot of space right here. So let's get started. I'm using a 12 round brush. This is a squirrel. So it loads a lot of pigment. I can get a lot of pigment on this brush. And I will also be using probably a medium size round. This is from Brighter Day Pigments, and I just love their pigments. And we're just gonna start. I got 2 ways. This is our first decision. Am I just gonna color around the whole circle? I could do that. I don't know if that's really the right choice, but what I am going to do is I'm just going to, ooh, that is really bright. and I got a lot on my brush. That is going to be really fun. But I like these brushes. And I'm just going to go around. Now you could also kind of do something like that and then fill it in, which is probably maybe a choice. And so what I'm doing is I'm doing a little bit of pressure, thick pressure, and then I'm going back up just like that with a little, so a little bit of pressure, thick pressure, and then I'm just lifting my brush up. And I'm doing it pretty fast. I'm not thinking about it. And if I don't love it, I can always go back in and try it again. There we go. Oh, perfect. And I will say that brushes, squirrel brushes or Kandinsky brushes, they're made with real animal fur, but they hold a lot more pigment and a lot more water, and so you can do a lot more, you can get a lot more pigment on your brush than if you didn't have it. Like a synthetic brush won't exactly do that, but anyways. Alright, I really like how these petals are. There are a couple petals that I think I could use just a little bit more. I just want my Gerber daisy to be as full as I can. And that's where I almost just have to go back in on top of it. But circles are so fun to paint. I kind of want to start with a yellow. We'll see. I'm probably going to just circle this right into it. Right like that. Oh, that's going to look beautiful. And it might even go into the Gerber daisy, and I'm okay with that. I'm going to let that sit. Bright. I really love it. Alright, while I am thinking about all of this, I'm actually going to go in with some of this green oxide is what it's called. It's really pretty. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to kind of go and outline. And I know Gerber daisies have this like ruffly edge look, so that's what I'm going for. Whether or not it's that ruffly, I don't know, but that's okay. It's a card. It's going to be lovely for somebody. And I am going to be very careful. This is called negative painting. I'm just going to go in. I do think that leaves really can make or break the flower. So take some time with your leaves. I'm not saying you have to take hours on it, but spending some time and having that craftsmanship really does help. I do want this line to be a bit more defined. And because I can, I'm just going to add some of that yellow into it. Just straight from the palette. But I really love these pigments. I love how granulating they are. They are just lovely to work with. I would highly recommend getting a set. This set is Anthropology Pink. And this set is Anthropology Blue, and between the two of them, I really think you can get a lot of beautiful colors with them. Okay, we're going to go with the green again. I am being very careful where the petal is. I really love it when the watercolor just kind of like moves on the paper. It makes me so happy. Yeah, like it's doing right now. Oh, what I want to do is I just want this to bleed just a teeny bit. Just like that. And that's going to look really fun in a little bit because I'm going to add some more kind of color into it. I'm going to add this beautiful turquoise that I haven't used yet. That's going to be gorgeous. And it is. It's just going to be a very light wash, but that's okay. Oftentimes I will just splatter onto the gold in the background because I won't know exactly what I want until after. But I do like having mica splatters. Okay, one of the background. Alright, so for the center, I'm not quite ready yet, but I am going to go ahead and just, with a thicker brush, I'm just going to add some more of these petals into the daisy. So I'm getting some thick and thin lines. I'm also getting my value, and then I'm just going to start. Yep, I still need a lot more yellow, I figured. I'm just going to start right in here, And what I don't want to do is I don't want to go all the way around the whole circle. So I'm just going to do like half moon shape, and then I'm just going to fill it in with lots of dots. And this is maybe a little more orangey than I wanted it to, so I can just dab out the middle a little bit, keep the outside because the outside's really pretty. But then I'm just going to come in with yellow. There, I really like that. I'm just gonna kind of doodle in. Alright, so tulips. Tulips are one of my favorite things to paint. And I'm gonna I like the idea of having maybe a loose fluid type tulip. And so you can almost just do little water doodles, kind of see where I have water. Those are going to be little tulips. And I think what I'm going to do is just kind of keep things very simple. Yeah. All right, so I have my little water doodles. They're just the little ovals, really. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to switch between yellow and this purple color. I call it wisteria. It's really a pretty color. But we're going to do yellow and this beautiful wisteria, like orchid color. As I paint them all orchid colors. Okay. And the hardest thing about these tulips is you gotta know when to stop. So I have to tell myself, okay, that's enough tulips. Give the yellow its due. And I'm gonna use this beautiful bright sunshiny yellow just to give it some pizzazz. Look at that. Oh, so pretty. And really, I'm just using the shape of the brush. Whew, makes me think of Easter. I think I'm going to need another color, though. And I kind of want to try. This is from the Seagull Lily collection. I think I'm going to try this one. We'll see. I may... Oh, yeah, no, that's definitely happening. Look at that beautiful... That matches almost this. Let's put this into here and see what happens. Oh, that'll be really pretty. And just because I can, does that turn into mud? It turns into an orange. That's pretty. Okay, well then, we are going with it. Okay, before I play too much, you gotta, ovals are fun. I mean, I'm going to take this oval brush, which I could have done this with the oval shape. I just chose not to. And I'm going to take this beautiful, I'm going to have a couple of different greens, but this one comes from the Seagull Lily one. I'm just going to add stems. And tulips have these beautiful long stems, and I just love them. I really love how the paint is just moving on the paper. And again, this is more of a stylized stylized photo. So now with the paint that's left, I'm just going to... Tulips have like a very cylinder long. So I'm just gonna do that. So I pull up, and for the short ones they're just going to get little smaller stems, and for that one it's probably going to be a little So fun. And I don't think you have to have all the stems. I like greenery and I like the stylized look of these tulips. Now that one got into it a little bit more. I will fix that in just a second. And there is some tulips, and you could have just done one row. That would have been really pretty. Let's fix this. I don't really want all the green, but that's pretty. And I kind of like how that's doing its own thing. So we're going to keep this the way it is. I am going to add a background. I think that's going to help kind of make these tulips look just a little bit more loose. Yeah, for me it loosens up my strokes a bit. And while the paint is still a little bit wet, you can see it being really wet, I'm going to add in this beautiful blue from the Anthropology Pink section. It's kind of a fun loose look. But you do have to get your pigment to water to ratio kind of fixed. So there is an art to this, and my best advice is to play around. Don't be afraid to add layers. That's what you have to do. Like, whew, that's a lot of pigment. I want to be able to see the paper. And don't be afraid to just add more layers. Like this could be the first of a couple layers, and I'm okay with that. Right? I'm going to let this dry, and then we're going to come back and we're just going to add in some of the colors that we just used. Let's get them finished. We are using this beautiful purple, which is my new favorite. These are really pretty. They remind me of tulips in the rain. I don't know if you ever have seen tulips in the rain, but they don't like the rain. And they look like they kind of close up and they just kind of weather it out. Okay. That's fun. This is a fun little card, I think. You Make Me Happy When Skies Are Gray is maybe maybe one that I would use for this one. I'm going to add a little bit more of this translucent Wisteria Pink is what I'm calling it. So pretty. Yep. Okay, so I hope... Yep. Not quite done. I need one more yellow. One more big, beautiful oval shape of yellow. I'm wondering if that's gonna... Oh, yeah. It's like sunshine on my brush. Totally loving this. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's do a rose. Oh, and I think I'm gonna go with this beautiful red. Perfect red rose. And so there's a couple ways to paint a rose. The way that I like to paint them is like the C curve, which is probably like everyone's favorite. And then you take your brush and you just add a little bit of water to it, and you just kind of make little C's with an oval brush. So I'm making a C, and then below a C, and then I'm going to take my clean brush, still my over brush, and I'm just going to add some water to smooth it all out. So really it's starting to look more like a blob than a rose. And then what we can do is I like to go in with yellow and just add, I like to have like this glowy yellow look. And you don't have to. Maybe then you just get this yellow and the red, and then you can go back in. Pretty soon you'll get what you're looking for, and it just takes a little bit of practice and a little bit of thought. I just go back and forth with a C shape. Yeah. There we go. There's a beautiful rose. So here's another way to make a rose. You just kind of make your little oval. And this is more like just for fun. But make your little fun little oval. And I got my yellow happening. Maybe I'm just going to add a little bit in the middle. Right like that. And then I'm just going to poke in some water, or watercolor. Yeah, something like that, and then it'll dry and I can add more depth to it, but that's pretty. And maybe I'll do another one right here. There's a C, there's another C. I think these are perfect mindfulness roses too, if I'm being totally honest. I like that. Okay, back. And then I can always add a little bit more. Maybe on the other side we just outline it with some darker green. And then we just watch this green fall. This green is really pretty. This green is like an iron oxide, so it's very granulating because it came from the earth. Alright, so we're gonna get a couple of good Mother's Day cards, I think, out of this, and birthday cards. I'd love to know what you are painting for. Are you painting for Mother's Day or birthday? And these are really just little half C's that I'm doing. I'm not making this too complicated. There. It's a circle. It has some squiggles in it, and it looks like they look like roses. So I think that's perfect. Or star shapes. Let's do star shapes. And I just cannot get over this beautiful pigment right here. So let's start with this. So a star shape, I like to use an oval brush for this. So pressure, and then I lift up, and then here's another petal, and I lift up. Here's another petal, and I lift up, and then another petal, and I lift up. And it's a perfect little 5-point star, and then in the middle of it all, you can usually add a little bit of, you know, whatever. I do a very dark blue. You could probably tone it down a bit with this violet color. There we go. And it can be as big or as little as you want it to be. Yeah. I really like how it like moves on the paper, and so what we could do then is just add more of the brush strokes like I did with the rose, and we're just outlining where the shape should be, or maybe where I want the shape to be. Violet, and it's really pretty. Another one is you could just add some yellow right in the middle, and that would be really pretty too. And then moving on. As I'm painting these violets, I thought now is a great time to mention about the pigments that I'm using. I'm using pigments from Brighter Day Pigments, and you can find them on brighterdaypigments.com. And the palette that I'm using is Anthropology Blue for the violets and Anthropology Pink. And then the third one that you see on the top center is Sigo Lily. And they are beautiful pigments. They are all handmade in small batches by an artist, for artists. And I just love them. They are crafted to be bold. They're flexible, and they're easier to use than traditional watercolors. They're a little bit more granulating. So if you like the granulating effect, these pigments are perfect for that. And I cannot say enough about the artist Nancy who makes them, and I'm totally in love with them. So if you are looking for pigments, check out brighterdaypigments.com. Just like that. And then I think I'll take the squirrel brush, and I'm just going to add a whole bunch of water. And I'm going to do that same thing that I did with the roses. To make these backgrounds, I'm kind of doing the same thing that I did before. The watercolor paper is wet before I add that beautiful green oxide, and I'm just adding in, I'm just making a wash, and I love the granulating pigment. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Anyways, if you found this tutorial to be helpful, I would sure love your support. Like and subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. And you'll see me in just a second splatter on some more pigment. But look at that granulating green. It is so gorgeous. Oh my goodness. So anyways, keep watching. I got one more flower to show you. All right, let's do some bluebells. Okay, so my bluebells in my home is like, it's almost purpley. So it is very much in like this purple, which I think is gorgeous. But to make the bluebells, I like to make this little like thing just like that. And then the ones behind it are smaller. So they're almost like little V's. And then I'm going to go in with this blue because, you know, they are blue, but they do have this very purpley feel to it. And there we go. There's my bluebells, but I need it to also be very green. And I think we'll try this green. And they have these beautiful stems. Which I love. And then the beautiful leaves that just kind of come up. And they're just so perfectly round. And that's how I would paint bluebells. I know that was super fast, but I have been painting bluebells a lot, and maybe I would just do another one just like that. And the way I started painting bluebells is I would just pick them from the florist floor, and I would just learn how the leaves looked to the stem, how the little bells looked at with the stem, and I just kind of started making them. And then I really want to leave that alone. It's very juicy, and I'm okay with that. And so once it's completely dry, I'm going to go back in and just add a little bit. I might actually, if I'm really, really careful, I can take this clean, damp oval brush, and I'm just going to try and take part of that off. And then I'm going to add little green, like so it's floppy. Now what I could do is I could do one more right in here and just make it really small, almost like it's a bud blooming. So let's do that. There's my little little triangle. My triangle with 3 feet. And then I'm just going to add some of that beautiful blue back in at the very top, or bottom. So I'm going to do that again. There, that's going to look beautiful. All right, and I see that these two bells kind of got into one, so we'll fix that as well. But let's add. We'll do that. Oh, that's looking pretty. And then I can always shade it. I think that's the difference that makes your art okay to making it look beautiful, is adding that extra depth. And so like right here, I have this beautiful thing happening. And so I want to keep that thing happening. And so I'm just going to add a teeny tiny little bit of that. There. Oh, that's so pretty. And then just to give it more depth, just right there, I'm going to go ahead and make this purple really blend in with that. So maybe it's 1, maybe it's 2. We don't know. We'll let the viewer decide. It's just fun to paint, right? If you're having fun painting, that's half the battle. And what I want to do is I just want to give it some more form. So bluebells are really delicate. So what I don't want to do is just make it look like I put too much into it, but a little bit goes a long way. Like that tip needs a little bit, so I'm just going to do that. And now I can just come right in here and add a little green thing. And that's my bluebells. Oh my gosh. Sometimes I do like to grow my flowers. There's my bluebells. So beautiful, right? And so simple. All right, so I am almost done with these beautiful flowers. Oh my gosh, they have been so much fun to paint. I am using my squirrel brush with that beautiful tip. I really do love this brush so much. I got it from Blick. And I'm just adding a little bit of details to the leaves. I'm keeping it very simple. It's a card. It's meant to like bring someone joy, and so that is about done. And now I'm going to work on my bluebell. My bluebell is beautiful the way it is, but I thought I could probably do a cute little background just so the white of the flowers, just so the white of the paper is just simple and beautiful. And so I'm just using a light wash. I have a lot of water on my brush, and then I'm just carrying that pigment around wherever there's water. So I'll wet the paper down, and I love this technique for florals because it really just gives it a light and airy look to it. And then you'll see me in just a second splatter some blue mica pigment on it, and it's just a little bit. It's not a lot, it's just enough. And then what you'll see is I will just clean up the splatters wherever I don't want the splatters, and you'll see that it kind of gives it a nice marbled look. All right, on to stamping. I am going to stamp this beautiful tulip with a clear stamp that says I love you or hope it blooms. And that is going to be inked up with some distress ink. I believe it is a green moss, maybe. I could be wrong. Anyways, and then as I clean it, I'm actually just going to take a spray bottle and dab it on my towel, and it's clean enough. And then I will be on to the next stamp, which is You Are the Reason for My Smile, and it is by Colorado Craft Company. It's one of my favorites. And this one I'm actually going to do Lucky Clover in Distress Ink to really make this perfect. And this is going to be a perfect, I think I'm going to give this to a graduate who loves watercolor. So there you go. And sometimes with watercolor you do have to stamp it twice, even though you've painted on it. It just takes a little bit of time to do, but there you go. Oh, this is so much fun. So I'm wrapping up with just an I love you stamp from Tailored Expressions, and it's red rubber, so I can really get some good imprints, and usually I just need to stamp it once. But anyways, I stamped the daisy and the rose with I love you, and it's perfect. And now I'm just I put them on card bases, and that's the end of that. But if you found this at all helpful, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, comment on what your favorite card was or what your favorite flower is to draw. I always stand by, anyone can paint if they know basic shapes. So give this a try, be motivated, and I am so happy to share my love of creativity with you. Happy painting!